Hi. Hi, everyone. Let's see who's here today. Gniel. Happy Moin Day while we wait for the master. The master has arrived. Hi, it's Monday again. The restaurants are closing again and we're shutting down again. I know. So we need some serious therapy. That's why I have arranged for Rex Sikes to join me today. He has this book called Life on Your Own Terms. And today's show is about what the hell is going on here. Holy jellyfish. Stay healthy. Stay healthy. We got to stay healthy. Everybody stay healthy. Ben McKnight's, good morning. Jose is here. Hum for the hummingbirds, cult of the hummingbirds. Kamala Lopez. Holy. Mark Strignell, he just dropped 2 new videos on his YouTube channel, so check those out. Hopefully we're going to play one of those songs this week. Sales Empire. Yeah, what's good? What's good is we're going to get into the show. For those of you who may not have seen the show before, this is Lunch Therapy. It is about taking a break from the crap, having some fun, looking at some jellyfish, seeing what's out there, and then having a little bit of a chat, doing some stand-up comedy. Here we go. Hey, Guy Fly, how's your eye? That didn't work very well. I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 In that intro, there was a thing that said moose. I don't know why. Down here, over here, to my right, is Rex Sikes. I was going to bring him on more dramatically, but, you know, this is Lunch Therapy. There's not a lot of drama going on. There's a lot of hilarious comedy, though. And Rex and I are going to provide some hilarious comedy for you today. And no pressure, Rex. But, you know, we're just kind of, it's welcome, Rex Sikes. Glad to have you on the show. How are you today?
Oh, I'm live. I can talk. I didn't know.
He's live today, so we can talk. We can talk to the chat room. Chat room can talk to us.
Well, I am Rexcellent.
Rexcellent.
I am Rexcellent. And I'm raring and ready to go. And I'm Rexcellent. I want to say something to you. You know, you have the best music and the best video clips and the best snippets of sound. Bar none. Every time I watch the show, or now that I've been on the show, I just am so impressed with your selections, the way you curate, and your hosting abilities and skills. And so it's an honor, a pleasure to be here.
Wow, thanks, Rex. Thanks for starting the show off with a positive note, because, you know, sometimes the chat room can be hard on me. You know, they can be so hard that I need my own therapy.
Vicious chatters.
Yeah, they're vicious. But, you know, I actually, to tell you the truth, a lot of the things that I show on my show are provided to me from the viewers of the show, such as...
That's cool.
Such as Gniel, one of our viewers who's in the chat room now. This is his hummingbird. He's holding...
Oh, I was going to say the hummingbird gave you a video, but that's Gniel that gave you the hummingbird video. That's awesome.
Me the video.
Awesome.
Kamala Lopez says, "Where are you? Where are you, Rex Sikes?"
I'm right here. Can't you tell? I'm right in front of you, Kamala.
She says, "Nice plants, Rex." Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm in my house in the Midwest, not in California, but in the Midwest. I was going to do this outside, actually. It's about 35 degrees. And yesterday it was like 32 degrees, you know, freezing with 50 mile an hour winds, you know, so I'm in the dog park all bundled up. I wanted to do that here today for you. And then I thought, well, you know, for however long we are, if I've got, you know, parka and scarves and everything, it might
Could be a
So I came
real
in. I
disaster.
decided it. I did it. But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Californians, when it's like 65 degrees, they're wearing ski jackets and snow pants. I mean,
Oh yeah.
because I've gone through it. When I go back and forth,
I'm freezing right now. Freezing.
yeah, and it's what
75, 80
80.
degrees out. Freezing my ass
Well,
off.
so here's the thing: we put on more clothes to protect ourselves, to bundle up, be safe, be warm, and cozy, right?
Yeah.
Well, you do the same thing with your mental attitude. When you wrap yourself around with positive thoughts and thinking, it just makes everything better and a little bit more tolerable. And so we can talk about that later. But I am in the Midwest where it's cold. I'm inside where it's warm. And yes, there's plants behind me. And Kamala, I'm right in front of you, but I cannot see you.
I like how you're getting down to business right away. Getting down to the meat of the story, which is we gotta take care of ourselves mentally because things are happening and we have no control over them and they are just seem to be going on and on and on. Let's get to the breathing. What do you say?
I say that's great. Let's breathe, because without breathing,
Without breathing, who knows what we're going to do. So here we are. We're looking at the nomadic ambiance behind us, which is one of my favorite backgrounds. It is provided by Nomadic Ambiance, it's an incredible YouTube channel where if you're ever feeling like you need to just meditate and you want some good sounds and you want some good visuals, that's the place to go. I'm going to have Rex lead us in the 3 breaths today.
So I begin a little differently.
Okay, great.
I say breathe out, exhale.
First.
And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And hold it. And exhale. And resume normal breathing comfortably and calmly.
Oh, I feel better now. I feel much better. I was kind of stressed out because it's Moin Day. We like to call it Moin Day here because it's a hybrid of the greeting hoi, which is our greeting instead of hi. And then you put...
And it rhymes with koi.
It rhymes with koi.
Or poi. From Hawaii, it's got that poi.
I never know the difference between koi and poi. What's the difference? Is poi like food?
Poi is a poisonous food. It's a pudding like horribly tasting substance that you must develop a taste for.
Okay.
And koi is the fish. Okay. And koi is also a way of being. You can be koi.
You can be
without being a fish.
Different spelling. Right. Let's take a look at the chat room here just to see what's happening. Ben likes the new Westworld-inspired music. It is kind of ominous sounding. Kamala says, thanks, Rex. I mean, maybe you know what it's referring to. It looks nice there. Turn up your volume.
Come on over.
Joel has to turn up his volume. All right, I'm turning my volume up. Hopefully people can hear me now. It's good to have the tech room here because my tech room is horrible. It's Boney, my assistant Boney, and he sometimes, he smokes a little too much of the ganja. And sometimes I think he completely goes to sleep during the show. He's very relaxed, though. Very relaxed.
Just a shell of his former self.
He really is. He's doing quite well for having no skin or organs.
Yeah, really. No, yeah.
All right, I'm going to show you this next intro, and we're going to ride along through the intro because I kind of enjoy it. Let's go. It's nice, isn't it?
Great.
Yeah, it's like a Aztec-y kind of thing. There's a lot of the smoking of the ganja going on here, too. You'd think this was like a stoner show. But there's none of that going on here. At least with the host. He just kind of acts like a stoner. All right, so this is the watch party segment of the show where I'm going to show you some stuff just because I want everybody to realize that there is an incredible world outside your door. And if we could only go out again, we'd be able to explore it. And when we do, it's going to be great because I'm going to listen to these people because they're funny. is deep in the sea. I mean, it seems like it's unreal, right?
Is that a jellyfish?
That is some kind of
Oh, wow.
crazy freaking jellyfish.
From eyeball creature.
Yeah, it's nuts. I lost my job as the lunch therapy breather. Oh, no.
Are we going to call you a nose breather or mouth breather? Or what?
I'm definitely a mouth breather. Oh yeah, get out the bad stacked air first. That's what you were thinking. Maybe we're gonna have to adopt that. They want to know if you've ever killed a duck.
Wow, tempting.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the sound off on there, and I'm gonna play a little music. I don't know what this music is like. Stony, yeah. Boney's gonna start being called Stony. My audio is much better. Greg Wardle is here. Yes, most of us fall asleep during the show. Well, I'm glad that you're relaxed enough to fall asleep, because that's the whole thing, is relaxing us, making us feel better. Okay, so now float like a hummingbird, sting like a stoner. This is another underwater thing. There is this incredible oceanographic institute that takes place on a boat. It's called the EV Nautilus. And this is just weird because I was going to show you a picture of this and ask you, do you think this is real? But wait till you see this thing. Wait till you see it. I'm going to go forward a little bit. That is an actual living creature. It's like a Muppet underwater. Or something.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
In the actual thing, which I'm going to turn on the volume because
Oh, it's got tentacles.
they get super happy about it. They're funny.
I wonder what it's thinking.
Yeah, I wonder too.
Flash our lights.
Here they are. Here's the people.
Maybe he'll change color.
He's all veiny. You can see how
Yeah.
reactive he is because of all his
I think this
veins.
is a good spot to end our watch. Just stay here until.
Just stay here.
Well, I don't
I like those people in the ship on the oceanographic, the Nautilus, because they are, they're like scientists, but they're just like kids, So they're like, wow, look at his googly eyes. All right, so moving on. Rex, I've got something for you that I want to show you. Let's just see what's going on with the chat room. Joel, this stuff gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, Ben McKnights, he doesn't like that stuff. John Oliver had a bright yellow turtle on his show. Thanks, John
He did.
Oliver. Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Wow. Does Frank
But you've
Oz
got a
do
purple eyeball,
this? It's great.
tentacled. I don't know what you'd call that.
I don't know, but it just doesn't seem real. All right, moving on.
Awesome.
No more underwater, but wolves eating pumpkins. One of the things that we've realized on the show is that wolves, elephants, hippopotamus, moose, they all like pumpkins a lot. You can see they're fighting over it.
I give my dogs pumpkin.
Sasha, is that one of your dogs?
Sasha and Bailey, yeah.
Bailey.
I don't do it all the time, but I every other week or so, a couple of weeks, I give them some pumpkin with the wet meals that I make them in the morning. Their breakfast. They eat better than I do, but
Is that so they can be regular?
yeah, it's a fiber thing, and some people think you should only do it when they have an elimination issue, and others think that adding it helps keep them regular. But dogs have different stuff going down there than we do, I guess. So
Why do they give them pumpkin? Yeah, for constipation.
Well,
She said the same thing because I give it to my cat, Charlie Brown, pumpkin.
oh, you do? I haven't tried it with my cat.
Yeah, but I don't give them big old raw pumpkins. I mush it up.
Yeah, I honestly, I buy the canned stuff from like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, somewhere.
Okay, one more thing here. Oh, we're going to talk about moment shots, but not today.
Wow, I haven't heard of that. I mean, I haven't seen anything
You
about
can
lemon
look
shots
forward
in a
to
long
that
time.
in the
Awesome.
future.
Garloo.
This is something I wanted to show you because I'm a mind reader, and I think that you might find this interesting.
Oh God, I have that downstairs in my office.
You have this?
I have Garloo. And the only thing
is
that's missing is the box and the medallion. That's just.
Who can control this monstrous creature? You can, kids, because Great Garloo by Marx is yours to command. With these
Do you have the remote control?
I do.
You can make Garloo.
I don't know if it works. I mean, I haven't tried it in years. All Garloo did would do that. It would roll, it would bend over, and it could open and close its hands.
Really? Yeah, that's what I understand. I've got one more video about Garloo.
You could pick things up, but yeah, you're a great mind reader.
Yeah, this is the Great Garloo 1964, I think, 63, something like that. Nice piece. It's got the shoulder pads, got the arms, it's got the bracelet on it down here. It's got the original Garloo medallion.
I never saw this. I don't know if anybody in the chat room ever saw Garloo.
Pretty nice shape considering as old as it is. The only piece that's cracked on it, which is minor, is the little piece that's cracked by his neck. There's a little.
So apparently you can get like $400 for a Garloo. Just so you know, if
Probably.
you're ever strapped for cash, you
Right.
can get your Garloo together.
Mine doesn't have sponge around its arms. It just, I mean, I don't know why it does that, or if it comes like that in a separate version, but I lost the medallion. I had it for a long, long time, and then I don't know what happened to the medallion, but everything is.
Wow. Greg
Garloo.
Werla says elephants, wolves, dogs, and Peter are all pumpkin eaters.
And humans are cannibals, so it's
Humans
cool.
are cannibals. What?
Well, here in Wisconsin, we're the cannibal capital of the world, so, you know.
Oh my God. Okay.
But it's true. It's true.
Wow. All right. So we have,
It's
okay.
good. It's good.
Now we know we've learned something today.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that pumpkin makes you regular.
You know, I don't know if it does human. I would imagine it does for humans too. I never thought about it. Jenny stole the medallion. She probably does. She probably is carrying it around in her purse all these years.
You know, I want to do a subscriber update real quick because I got a super important thing. Go Wisconsin. Greg's into Wisconsin for some reason. He loves it.
Yeah,
too.
welcome to Wisconsin. We arrest drunk drivers and speeders, so come on by.
All right, subscriber update. How many do you think I have on the channel? 1 million?
Over 500.
Over 500. That's what we're thinking.
That's gonna be over 500.
Yeah. So here it is. Here's the number. Get ready for it. All right, there's a dog.
That sucks.
I've got way too many graphics going on here. Hold on, there's a ghost. There's a ghost. So the number, if you can see it, I'm going to move you up here.
Yeah, I was going to say the number's behind me.
700 subscribers. It's actually 705, I believe. So we're pretty happy about that. All right, we've got a dog coming in. This is great. These are some of the subscribers.
Wow, that's so cool.
It's pretty neat. Huh?
Hi, Tabitha and Aaron
Greg,
and
Connor.
Ron.
Oh, all right. Okay, so now we're moving into the interview section, the live interview. So get ready. Let me just check. Oh, wait, we got a couple of celebrations here. Oh, my God, 700,
wow.
705. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we try not to fixate on the subscriber thing, but it's kind of fun to know that there's 705 subscribers. All right, here we go. Live interview time. All right, so I'm here in my cubicle.
Wow.
This is in your honor, is because your book is called Life on Your Terms.
Yeah.
And here's the book cover, by the way, Life on Your Terms. So I thought it would be appropriate if we start in a cubicle, because that just doesn't feel like life on my terms. Doesn't feel like it.
Right.
And that's one thing that I wanted to know is, like, let's say somebody picks up your book and they're spending a lot of time in a cubicle, and maybe they're just not happy being a cubicle dweller. Yeah, you know, so where do they start? They're like, this is not life on my own terms. I didn't want to be in a three-walled contraption in this drab, horrible situation. What do
Actually,
do?
I mean, That's actually a very fascinating question and an interesting premise, because it doesn't matter where you're stuck. You could be stuck, in your home. You could be stuck in a job. You could be stuck in a relationship. You could be stuck with bad health or debt or any number of things. Whatever the cubicle is for people. There's two things that humans can do. We can react, and we can respond.
Mm-hmm.
And when we react, it's like when you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off, and you go and give them the finger, or they give you the finger and you immediately give it back. You do it it's like out of consciousness. It's a knee-jerk reaction, just like when the doctor hits your knee with a mallet or the inner part of your elbow to test your reflexes. It's a reflex. It's wired in, and it's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So we react. We get angry. We get happy. We get sad. We get frustrated. It's an interesting thing. We get mad the same way every time. Did you know that?
How does that mean? How do you mean? How do we get mad?
Well, we may have different levels of mad, but what I'm getting at is there's a trigger. Usually it's an outer trigger or even an inner trigger, a thought that you have or a feeling that you have, and something triggers anger. You see something on TV, somebody calls you, you get an email, whatever. But you start to get angry.
That happens a lot lately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot
but
of
you
people
get angry the same way.
Yeah, the same way. How do you get angry the same way? You mean like you go, fuck?
Physiologically, what happens in the body is you squirt some chemicals and you have some electrical impulses, and it has actually a sequence to it. So that's why people can feel themselves getting angry, or feel themselves getting depressed, or feel themselves getting elated, or feel themselves getting horny, because our body knows the pathways, and we do this routinely. So we constantly are going into chronic or habitual states of emotions, that drive us. And when we're stuck or frustrated or reacting, and it's a tough place to be, because it's outside of our control. We can control it to an extent. In other words, it's like when you breathe, like what we did. When you breathe in and breathe out, you actually stop at some point. You stop the inhale and start the exhale, or you stop the exhale and begin. There's this tiny little gap, but it's because it's not just completely one thing.
Yeah.
So there's a gap that occurs in our consciousness. When something triggers us, there's a moment before we react to it. Mm-hmm. Just like when have you ever noticed that when the doctor tests your reflex, they hit you, and like a second later you kick your. It doesn't happen the second they hit you. It's just like a second later.
That's because I go, oh, am I supposed to kick my foot?
And what I'm getting at is it's outside of our conscious control.
Right.
There's a gap.
There's a gap.
Right. Yeah. And somebody wrote a very good book called about emotional intelligence and things. There's what's called emotional flooding. Think of it this way. If you have an automobile on a very steep hill, like a steep hill in Los Angeles somewhere, or San Francisco, and you got the emergency brake on, and you're standing right in front of that car.
Yeah.
And the brake gives out, and you're right in front of it. You could put your hand out and stop it, because it's not going to go anywhere. You're right in front of it. Mm-hmm. If you were 10 feet or 20 feet from the car and the emergency brake gave out, it would come careening, because momentum would build.
Some speed. Yeah.
You have to jump out of the way.
Yeah.
So the knack that people need to learn is when there's that gap, that's when they have the opportunity to redirect or to change or to learn to respond differently than going through the flooding process. Just like a snowball coming down a hill, it picks up all the snow and becomes a giant snowball. But if you can stop it before it starts rolling down the hill, now is when you can redirect it. And it's a lot easier to redirect things than it is to stop things. It's like, damming water takes a lot of energy and but if you dig a path and divert the water, that's not as, it's not as, the energy, doesn't take as much energy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it can flow and you don't have to be resisting or pushing back. So the trick is to learn how to respond, because if you have two choices in life, the circumstances are there. Mind the gap. Now I understand. There you go. Very, very, very
exactly. You have to be aware of the gap so that you can make a choice. And that's, exactly. I think one of the things that you're saying here is that it is our choice whether to get angry or not. But we've got to know that moment where we make the choice. Do you think?
Yes, and it's a little more nuanced than that. In other words, we're conditioned to go into the anger if we don't do anything about it.
It just
But
happens.
this is why people say count to 10 or take a deep breath or go work in a garden. In other words, when you start to feel what's going on, redirect it, channel it into a different way, take advantage of that moment, that gap, and do something different. So you can literally stop what's going on, take a deep breath, shake it off, jump up and down, do something. If you're in business meeting, that's a little harder to do.
Mhm.
But you could say, excuse me, got to go to the bathroom, go into the bathroom and jump up and down and stall that nobody hears you or sees you, and then come back in and go, okay, everybody, I'm back. You want to take advantage, become aware of the gap, and then use it to redirect. So you literally stop, take a deep breath, and then shift into a different way of being. Now, the point about the cubicle, going back to the cubicle.
Yeah.
You either live with the cubicle bothering you, the box or the circumstances or the events or the people that are driving you nuts.
Yeah.
Or you learn how to respond differently to the circumstances. And if you learn how to respond differently to the circumstances, now you're free. You're not reacting. You're choosing, which was what you said a moment ago. You get to choose how you want to be different. Circumstances doesn't change, but you change. Is a great way to transform your circumstances. It's what we do. I mean, in other words, Viktor Frankl.
Yeah. I have that every once in a while. That's a mind gap too, where you're like, what's the guy's name again?
Like, how could I forget Viktor Frankl?
I have that all the time.
Every day.
I'm like, I'm going to get it.
I know. You watched me go through that process.
I like it.
And then it drops in. But that's the cool thing too.
Yeah.
Is there's what's called the tip of the tongue phenomenon, which
Yeah.
means that I'm sitting here trying to get an answer back. The more I try to get the answer, the more I impede the process.
Mhm.
If I give up and I go, well, you know what, Joel, I'll get it later sometime. You go, oh, Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
So you're just about to say Viktor Frankl. The point of all this is Viktor Frankl said, you can imprison my body, but you can't imprison my mind. And so he spent a lot of time, in a concentration camp, living differently than a lot of the other people, because he said, my mind, you can't imprison me. So this is what's really important about thinking positively, living life on your terms, is that you have literally, neurologically, the ability to make a choice.
Mhm.
And yes, it happens quickly, but you learn how to take advantage of that. You learn, just like learning how to juggle or swim or anything, you learn how to control your thinking, you learn how to control your emotions, you learn how to control what you say, you learn how to control your behaviors, and you can live a quantitatively and qualitatively different life, one of greater happiness and success, even if you're still in your cubicle.
Yeah.
Or because you transform yourself, you're able to better recognize how to transform or get out of the cubicle. And I hope all of this made sense.
Well, it does. What I like about your book too is you've studied a lot of different things that can help people, and you've put it all kind of in an easy to digest book that just makes it super easy to go through and get these things. And you can take a deeper dive on any of these things by going to like Viktor Frankl's book or something else. So you've stood on the shoulders of greatness, which is the way to go. And you've then presented it to us in a way that we can, really get into it.
It's funny. A lot of people, thank you. I appreciate that. And a lot of people really want to change, and they're at the same time afraid of change. We don't want to leave our comfort zone. We don't want to shake the apple cart. We don't know what the unknown is. And so sometimes we stay inside a bad situation longer than we otherwise would, because we don't want to be comfortable. Yeah. And nice, pleasant pictures in your mind about what you can and will do that's positive and optimistic and feeling the same way are art and pictures that you can use to transform your life. So you're right on target with that.
And also,
comment.
one of the things that I think I got from your book, which I'm going to move into the interview room now and away from the cubicle. Not that the cubicle is terrible, but you can either change your environment, but the main thing is you're always going to run across obstacles, and that's one of the things that makes us grow. And you're always going to run across things that maybe you don't like in your life, or maybe that are not what you planned, but it's how you react to it that's important, and not exactly what's happening to you.
Absolutely. And here's an important point too. You can change your environment, and a lot of people try. In other words, most people, what we've learned
Yeah.
from growing up and being conditioned through the caregivers and the authorities around us, including our peers and the media and everything, is we try and change the circumstances instead of changing ourselves. We try and leave the environment and go to a different environment instead of transforming ourselves. So what happens is we spend our life running away from things or trying to control things that we actually can't control. Like I can't control the weather, and if I spend all my time trying to control the weather, I'm wasting my time. But I could change my response to the weather, and then or change my wardrobe. Wrap myself in positive thinking and optimistic. I can change my inner state and thereby better negotiate what's going on. It's the person who goes, I've married the same person 4 times, or I keep
wherever you go, there you are.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, people do the same thing with money. It's not just people. They do the same thing with their money, their debt. They don't know how to manage their money. They don't know how to, create wealth. So they focus on debt. If you're always focused on what isn't working or lack or debt, and you have that as your predominant thoughts of each day, how am I going to get out of this money situation? How am I going to get out of this money situation? And then you work really hard. You try this, and then you try that, and then you try a new business opportunity. You do that. You get 3 more jobs, and when what you need to do is learn how to change your thinking about it, manage your mindset, control your emotions. Now, when I say that specifically. Thank you, Camel. I say that specifically. Muhammad Ali said, I hated training. I didn't want to train. I don't want to go run out behind a car when it's cold and wet and damp. But I knew that if I wanted to be a world champion, I had to train. So I had to sacrifice now for later. I had to have something that was a big why, a big drive, something that motivated me so that I would train. But the point is, he said, I didn't feel like training, but I did it. And this is what people have to learn. Stop being so wimpy and just do it. You don't have to wait until you feel like it, because that's BS. That's crap. Motivation doesn't come while you sit and wait for it. Motivation comes from doing something. If you do something, if you go out and you run behind the car, then you feel more like training. You see the rewards and the results. So what happens with a lot of people is there's this saying, they major in minor things.
Yeah.
They major in poor thinking. They think thoughts of, I can't do that, I won't do that, I don't want to do that, it'll never work out, I'm not lucky, why does this always happen to me? That kind of self-pity, excuses, complaints, whines, and blames. And as a result, they live less than Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Exactly. Well, but it's absolutely true. And then people will say, well, I've tried it 100 times, or I tried everything. And I'm like, well, that's bogus. You didn't try everything.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. In my workshops in the 80s, I started teaching people to juggle. In every workshop, every program, there would be a component for juggling.
Yeah.
And people go, I can't juggle. And I go, well, just try it. And I teach them some things. When it comes to life and juggling, you're going to drop the balls. You have to get over the fact that you're going to drop balls.
Yeah.
So people can't say, well, I dropped all the balls always, ever. I tried it and I can't juggle.
Yeah.
Well, just keep trying it. In other words, you have to get past the idea that you're going to drop balls. And the more you do, the more you become capable of doing. So if you keep juggling little bit by little bit, you get better. You're juggling 2 balls, then 3 balls, then maybe 5 balls. Then the next thing you know, you're sitting on a chair on a tightrope eating a sandwich while juggling chainsaws.
Yeah.
Because the more you do, the more you can do, because you get better. And every time you get better, you feel better about it. You become more productive. You get more motivated. You go, you know what? I'm going to try this now.
Yeah,
and you add to your strengths. But yet most people don't do that. And why don't they do it? Because they don't feel like it. They're afraid. They let a thought stop them.
Yeah.
Which, and what is a thought? It's a mental packet of energy. We call it limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
People say I sabotage myself. There is, and if you read my book, there's no such thing as sabotage. You don't sabotage yourself. What you do is you do what you do, and then you say, you know what, I want to do something different, but your brain knows how to do this one thing, and it does it reliably, and you go, no, I don't want to do that anymore. And your brain goes, yeah, but this is what you wanted to do. And you go, but I don't want to do that. So you have to, again, divert your brain and teach it to do something new. And when you do, it will reliably do the new thing, just like it did the old thing. And I'll give you an example of that, in that if you move locations from one house to another house, or in the old days when you had to memorize phone numbers, if you changed your phone number, you may have found yourself originally dialing the old phone. But after a while, you start dialing the new phone. Or if you moved from one house to a new house, you might have driven or walked back to the old house a few times, on the way home, or automatically, you left work and you went, oh, wait, this isn't where I want to go. I want to go to the new house.
Yeah.
The brain learns the new thing and then goes, oh, you don't want to go there. You want to go here. And so you don't forget where the old house was. It doesn't erase it. You just start going to the new house.
Yeah.
So it's the thing is what I do with my book, and if people get the book and read it, you learn that change is not scary. It can be fun. And if you do it in little bits and pieces and make it enjoyable, you can do it. And you get a lot of bang for your buck, and you work the way the brain naturally works. You're not trying to go away from how the system works. You're embracing the system so that change becomes easy, natural, and more regular for you. And I hesitated to say more regular because of the pumpkin stuff before, but the idea being,
come on, you got to have a callback. It's your callback.
Yeah, we did have somewhere in there. Well, let me talk about cannibals then. But
no, I still don't understand the cannibal thing. I'm gonna bring on. I'm having trouble hosting right now. I'm gonna bring on another host to join me. It's a surprise host, and I don't know if you know this person, but let's see. It's a mystery guest, and let's see if I can bring them on.
I am Joel Marshall.
Isn't this exciting? It's going to be like a whole thing. As soon as I can figure out how to get this mystery guest in.
Oh my God!
I know, isn't this freaking? It's freaking crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Hold on. There. Oh, and here she is. Who is that?
Oh my God! The girl I trained to be a vampire.
Oh my God! It's Jenny Sikes.
Jenny Sikes.
Wow, are we lucky to have Jenny Sikes on this show? Oh, she's got a lunch therapy shirt on.
And I apologize. I should have worn my lunch therapy shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts.
It's probably in the laundry because you've been wearing it so much.
I took his. This is yours, Rex.
Oh, great. Stretch it out.
And by the way, Garlou's medal, I buried it in your backyard.
Is that what happened to it?
Yeah, when I buried Lucy.
So when you buried your duck that you murdered with chocolate cake, you took my medal from my Garlou and buried it with Lucy because you couldn't think of anything else to bury, like or to call her Lucy. Hey, look at that.
Not Lucy the duck. Lucy, your cat.
Wow. So
anyway, Garlou's in the backyard somewhere.
Wow.
His medal.
The medal is in the backyard at what house? Mom and Dad's?
Your house.
Are you guys related? You guys are related? Oh my God, I didn't know. I had no idea you guys were related.
We're twins.
Yeah, when we were little kids, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, that kind of thing, maybe 10. I mean, we occasionally would sleep in the same bed, and tell stories or whatever and go to sleep. And so one night I reached over and said, I'm a vampire. You want to be a vampire? And I pinched her on the neck and said, okay, I'm biting you and sucking your blood. And as a result, you see what happened.
Yeah, totally.
No, what happened? Wrong. I'll just finish a little bit of that story. He told me I would become a vampire and could fly like a bat, but I had to go and bite other kids first.
Oh.
And so I did. I went and ran, and then the neighbors hated me. And then my brother told on me. He said, Mom, Jenny's out biting the other kids. And
it's a good ploy. It's a
great setup for,
It's great.
But, I told you cannibalism. She was like part of that.
There we go with the cannibalism again. Yeah, did you ever break your nose, Rex, when you were a kid?
Multiple times.
Did you ever break your nose while falling downstairs?
God, I don't know if I broke my nose falling downstairs. Is that some story Ginny told you?
It is some story that Ginny told me.
I broke my jaw and my
not
nose.
On stairs.
No,
and
I broke
it. Had something to do with Garlou.
I don't remember that. I mean, maybe I'm.
That's why I showed the whole Garlou thing, was because
you
apparently
broke your nose because of Garlou.
Ginny told me you put a box on your head. And
it pinned your arms down and you fell.
No. That's the story I'm talking about. My jaw. We had a submarine, and the submarine was one of these long things. Yeah, see, she's gonna go, no, that's not it. But I know because I'm the one who broke it. And I had Joe and Jim over. I know the kids that were there, and we were in the basement, and I crawled inside this box, and one of them pushed me, and I fell face first on the concrete floor.
Wow.
Which I
Broke
thought
my
was
jaw
Carlou's
and my
box.
nose, and never got it fixed until 1979. I got my nose broken during the filming of Massacre at Central High. Andrew Stevens, the actor, actually cocoa butted me accidentally during rehearsal 5 minutes before a take, and crushed my nose. I mean, literally just took it out.
Oh.
And we did that movie in '76. So 3 years later, of not being able to breathe, I went and I had my nose fixed so that I could breathe, not cosmetic. And the doctor's like, "You do realize you got a totally broken jaw here? How did that happen?"
Oh, no. You know, Rex,
Yeah, then he
speaking
got
of
his
that,
nose smashed again.
he got his nose smashed again?
Like shortly after surgery, somebody punched him in the nose.
No, they didn't punch me. They put me in a headlock and they used their arm. I mean, you got part of the story right, but a guy was going through some trauma, and I made a comment to him about he was, shouldn't have done something, and he got mad and get out of my car. I got out of the car. He drove away, came back, jumped out of his car, tackled me. I'm in a suit. I'm literally up above Doheny Drive on Sunset, walking, and he grabs me in a headlock, but he crushed my nose, which I had just had fixed I just gotten out of surgery a couple weeks earlier, broke the nose all over again. And that I have not had fixed.
Oh my God. So you're an actor, right, Rex? This is what I understand, that you're an actor as well.
Well, some people would say that.
It seems like you have about 8 different professions. I heard that you were a mentalist, a magician, an actor, a clown. I've heard you juggle.
He's a clown, but not that kind of clown.
Not that kind of clown.
I'm not.
He's a John Gacy clown.
I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you the clown story.
There's a cannibalism.
Oh, this is a great story, actually.
Do you want to know the clown story? There was a girl I just was madly in love with. I was about 33 years old, I think, and I was, or 28 years old or something like that. And I had a couple of friends, and this girl broke up with me, and I was devastated. All I wanted to do was drink and cry and forget about everything. Yeah. And a friend of mine said, "Well, you could probably win her back." And I'm like, "Well, how?" He goes, "Well, why don't you be a clown and go to her house?" I'm like,
"Oh, that's a great idea."
So we go to Bart's, and I get
that's like the same kind of advice you give somebody. Like, why don't you go bite everybody's neck?
Exactly. and as it turns out, Joel.
Yes.
I rent clown costumes for the 3 of us and makeup, and then put this makeup on and get the big floppy shoes, and before we go to where she works, because she's working at a supper club at a restaurant.
Yeah.
We go through town, and everywhere we go, people are stopping us and going, "Hey, you have to, come in here, take pictures with us." We'd walk by bars, they go, "Come on in," the clowns are. So we go to her house, and before she's going to go to work, and I go up and I knock on the screen door, and she's sleeping on the couch, and she turns and looks and sees this clown at the door and 2 clowns behind him, and she won't come. And I'm like, and I can't talk because she'd know who I was. So finally she gets up, and I've got a pie that I've made that they have like a shaving cream pie, but you would buy this stuff. But so I've got that. So when she gets to the door, she's like, "Oh my God, who are you? Who are you?" And I'm like, and she opens the door, and I go to put the pie in her face, and she manages to hit it, and it goes, and I inhale all of her pie stuff. So I'm choking the choking clown at the door. So I bound away. I leap off with big feet going down the thing across her backyard to get away. I didn't know she was terrified of clowns.
Oh, see? People are afraid of clowns.
She's totally afraid of clowns. So my friends then take off, and we get in the car and we drive away. We go to where she's working, which is supper club, and we go into the bar. And she comes in and she's like, "Is that you? Is that you?" And I still don't say anything. And she's like, "Arr!" And she runs off. And meanwhile, there's a wedding going on, and they're asking if we would come in and entertain at the wedding, at the reception.
You got a job.
And no, I didn't, but I'm out at the bar with this other guy, and the one guy who literally had some mental issues, a schizophrenic gentleman, who I had befriended, went in, and in clown makeup was completely sane and completely funny and performed as he never otherwise would.
No way.
Right? So he's experiencing all sorts of stuff, and people are laughing and applauding, and he's like going, "Wow, this is fantastic."
He found his calling.
when the whole episode is over, he's like, "Can we do that again?" And I'm like, "Well, you can do it anytime you want, but I'm never going to be a clown again." So the bottom line is, we go out to her car, we put stuff all over her car, we tie balloons to the antenna, we write all sorts of stuff with this like whipped cream on her car. She comes out, she does realize it's me, so she goes, "Well, this is cool. Follow me home."
Yeah.
She gets in her car to drive home, and she gets about 50 miles an hour, and it rips the antenna off. The balloons rip the antenna off the car. Anyway, long story short, I will never, ever be a clown. It took me a week to get the makeup off, but I got the girl back.
Oh, you did?
I got the girl back.
And you had to fix her antenna.
New ending. I thought she was like horrified and never talked to you again.
You guys have two different histories of the same experience.
You just take every event in my life and change it to your liking.
That's comedy, I guess. That's comedy.
Yeah, it's like, Mom,
Jenny's
Dad, you
comedian.
remember that? And we all have different versions, huh?
Got any grapes? That's the response.
Got any duck foods?
Got any grapes? All right, so I have to end the show now, unfortunately. This has been super fun. Thanks, both of you, for being on the show today.
Well, and just so that people know they can change their life, they can read the book. They can
yes,
change their
I'm
life.
going to put that, and I'm also going to put the cover here in front of
where
your
they can get
face. I have a link in the show notes. I have a link in the show notes for this, and it's available on Amazon. It's a super good book. I highly recommend it.
I really appreciate that.
And then also I have a picture of Jenny from
That's an amazing. That's Jenny without makeup.
That's how I look as a little kid. Yeah.
This is the great Karma Carell did that makeup.
Carol.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like to say Carell. Sorry. I like to pronounce people's names wrong. This is my show.
That's Karma Carol's makeup.
Karma Carell.
Yeah,
okay, Jolie. Okay, Jolie.
All right. So anyway, let's yeah, Jolie. All right, let's move on to the dance break. We're gonna have to dance, and we've got this fantastic singer today. I lost Jenny, but I'll bring her back for the dance break. Here we go. I'm like all sparkly. It's kind of fun. So I'm now going to move us into and I have Rex muted for some reason. I don't know why, but now I don't. So this is a great singer. His name is Liam Cooper. He is also in England, like the great Mark Strignell. He's singing Piano Man. I believe he's in England. I don't know, but he let me play this song, and it's the famous Billy Joel's Piano Man. And now it's time for dance break. All right, now we're all here. This guy is so good, it sounds like he's actually Billy Joel. Like I'll probably... It's shocking how good he is. He's got the harmonica and everything. I think this guy's blowing up, though. I think he's, like, huge now. I mean, obese. Like 400 pounds now.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in.
Cult of the Hummingbird says,
There's
thanks,
an old
Rex
man
and Ginny.
sitting next to me,
Thank you.
making love to his tonic and
This is a
gin.
great song. I mean, in case you didn't know. It's a great song. I love Billy Joel, not just because of his name.
He says, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. Oh, la, 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 dee-dee-da.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks, Liam Cooper, for letting us play a little bit of his song here at the end. Go to his YouTube channel.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man.
I'll give it one
Sing
more
us a
verse.
song tonight.
Yeah, he's good.
Well, we're all in the
Mind
mood
the gap.
for a melody, and you've got us feeling alright.
Go to his YouTube channel. Check out the rest. See y'all later. Happy Moin Day. Nice stuff.
Thank you, Joel.
All right, see y'all.